Hi there guys, and welcome back to Naturally Rawsome. Today I want to talk about celery. How to see if it's a good one, how to pick a good one, and maybe some other tidbits and tips that help me along the way to get the best quality whenever possible, of course. So let's get started. First of all, what does a good celery look like? Pretty much like this one, and you see that this is pretty, well, it's not completely green, but it also has some kind of yellow in it, and this is the inner part, so that's why it's so light and yellow. And the inner part is kind of the best part for me, and I always keep this from juicing and snack it along the way. And yeah, what would be a bad example of a celery? This is what we got here. This one is pretty thin and dark green, and usually it's also very firm, and if it cracks then it's kind of woody and does not really taste very good. And for these ones it can also be that they taste pretty bitter. So if you see stems that have whole lots of stalks like this on them, it might be a very bitter one and not as tasty and juicy as some like this. And here I have another example of something that is not very good. I don't know if you can see this, but if I press it, you see that it gives in, and this is because there is nothing in it anymore, and it's completely emptied and woody, and you wouldn't get a lot of juice out of this one. And you can see that this is the case, or well, you can feel it of course, but you can also see that when the celery, that's usually like this, and the top part turns slightly yellow and translucent, then you know that it's not the freshest one and that it can be empty inside and not very juicy. So this stem of course is something that is super good, and you can hear when I crack it, super fresh on the inside. And yeah, a good stalk would look like this to me. But of course this one also has some of the lighter parts on them, but it's still overall a good quality because it has thick stems and green stems. If the celery is too bright and yellowish already, then it's a sign that it's not very fresh. Depending, if you feel it and it's pretty firm and feels juicy and fresh and cracks easily, then you know that it's fresh. And if it gives in like a, I don't know, like this one, if I would bend this one, it wouldn't even crack apart, it just stays together, and not the freshest one. Another thing, let me think. So whenever you can, always look for celery stalks like this or celery bunches like this that are still pretty greenish yellow and firm and juicy. And if you see things like this, then maybe you can pick another one where it looks better, if you have the possibility, of course. Well, and what I also made as an experience, if I buy it and I store it, for example, for longer than half a week or a week, then the celery also gets pretty bitter, which is not always a bad thing, but it makes it hard to drink it. The advantage of this is that the more bitter it tastes, the better it is for digestion. That's according to my experience. It's sometimes really terrible to drink it, but in the end it always makes a good digestion. And yeah, so I once made the experience when I tried to stock up because my organic farmer was on vacation, and then I stored it for more than a week, and in the end I realized, well, now it's getting bitter and it's time that my organic farmer is coming back from vacation and I need some fresh one. So fresh is always best. And what I also experienced is, of course, that organic celery has much more taste and flavor than the non-organic one, because it also has more nutrients, I'd say, and that's sure in the taste as well and in the flavor. And let me think of something else. Yeah, when I buy it, just a tip, as you can see in this one, there are no leaves left. And this is because I just cut them off. And I always do that because if you leave the leaves on, then the leaves suck out the juice out of the stems, and the stems wilt up pretty quickly. It's like with carrots, you cut off the tops because otherwise they will get soft and bend like a gummy tree. So I always cut off the tops, and yeah, I'm taking my time to cut off every leaf by itself, as you can see over here, and I'm not cutting off just on top because then I would lose a lot of juice. Yep. Let me think of other tips that I have. Yeah, I store them in bags in the fridge door because according to my experience that made them last longer and stay crisp. Instead of when I just put them in the fridge, they will get wilty a little bit faster. But that of course always depends on the fridge you have, I'd say. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Those were my most important tips. Always go for stocks like this, and they should be fresh. That's always the best. And organic, of course, in terms of nutrients and free of chemicals. Yeah, and remember to cut off the leaves to save some juice. And if you want to know how to tell when fruits are ripe and how to pick them in the best stage, or how to pick the best ones and store them, then please check out my ebook, How to Tell When Fruits Are Ripe. And this one doesn't contain celery because it's not a fruit, obviously, but it also contains veggie fruits like cucumbers, zucchinis, tomatoes. So I'll link it down below so you can check it out. And yeah, there are a lot of fruits in it, and also things like tropical things is durian and of course papayas, jackfruits, everything you can think of, apples, pears. I've included all of that, and I'll explain to you how you pick the best ones, how to store them for perfect ripening, and how to handle them, and some other tips that you need to know around that fruit, where it comes from, and some of the varieties that there are. Yeah, so if you want to check that out, I'll link it down below. Otherwise, I'll see you soon in another video. And until then, remember, keep it light and simple. And as always, naturally, Rawsome. Bye. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And maybe you have some tips as well, and know even more tips that you can share with me. I'm always happy to get some new tips about storing and picking and everything around celery, because it's my most favorite veggie. ever since I started eating raw foods. Please feel free to leave your comments down below and I'll be looking forward to them. Bye!